I think that content marketing world is explosive.
It's even better than I could have hoped.
It's been insightful, impactful, remarkable.
It's a big conference, but it feels intimate at the same time.
It's incredible. The quality and the scale are huge.
This is inspirational as well as very tactical.
There's so many speakers and so many sessions, it's hard to pick which one to go to next.
Every single thing on the agenda was something that I said, that's something I want to know more about.
When you come here, you get to learn from day-to-day practitioners that are in the weeds, that are doing the hard work.
I've enjoyed all of the speakers. They've all been very enthusiastic, passionate about what they're talking about.
It's awesome to have a variety of industries represented, everything from healthcare to higher education to the financial industry.
Every topic you hear, every speaker you hear from, every person you meet has value.
The vibe and the atmosphere here, it's really conducive to growing and learning and sharing.
Like, everyone is so warm and friendly, in addition to brilliant.
It's a really vibrant community of people that take what they do very seriously, but have a lot of fun doing it.
Content Marketing World has a very distinct and unique culture, which for me is the biggest draw.
It's a lot of fun. You build lifelong friendships. Every year, it's like coming home and coming back to family.
The human-to-human interaction and the community feel that exists at Content Marketing World is second to none.
There really is something for everyone.
Next year, let's bring the whole team, because I feel like everyone from my VP to the specialists and the coordinators could get something out of this.
I was jotting down ideas and notes of things that I can take back and immediately start implementing.
Content Marketing World is the can't-miss marketing event of the year.
I mean, it's like a kid in a candy store, so.
It is an insane group of people. You need to get here.
Join us for Content Marketing World 2024 in San Diego.
I love MADS. I just keep coming back every year.
MADS is my go-to marketing analytics conference.
There's so much great information, really awesome speakers, a lot of really awesome networking opportunities.
MADS is special, and I've never seen another conference quite like it.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. I'm so happy you're here for our final special CMWorld edition of Live with CMI. I'm so excited to be joined by my colleague and partner in crime, JK. JK, this is not a drill. 1 week from today, Content Marketing World kicks off.
That is right. I call this week the Who Needs Sleep Week. As you can see, you usually get casual JK, but you're getting super casual JK today because we have been going nonstop to put on this wonderful event next week. Amanda and I were just talking with our guest right before. We just got off a huge meeting with our team, and we are unbelievably excited. My house is full of boxed up stuff that needs to be shipped and packed, and it's nuts. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So if something funny happens or we say something funny, it's because we haven't gotten a lot of sleep. So this could be an interesting live stream.
Yeah. The Folgers Coffee Company is getting a lot of money from me this week.
Oh my gosh. And will for all of next week as well, since we will be flying to the West Coast. It should be a fun jet lagged week as well. But we love it. We love it every year. And as we gear up for San Diego, we are interviewing one more CMWorld speaker today, right, JK?
Oh, that's right. Today we have a great interview with Ashley Baker about navigating the new social media frontier. This is going to be great.
Awesome. And before we get to all that, as usual, we want to remind you that this live stream is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. We are the leading training and education organization for, you guessed it, all things content and marketing. So as you join us today, please give us a virtual wave and let us know where you're joining us from. Are you going to CMW? We'd love to hear from you if you are. If you have any tips for people who are attending, maybe for the first timers, be sure to share those with us in there as well. As I always say, it makes for a more engaging live stream when we hear from all of you. So feel free to drop those comments and questions in the comment section as we go along. And as we said, this is it. The final countdown is on. There's still time to register for Content Marketing World. And we can see you in San Diego. Let me hide that little thing there so you guys can see that. If you head over to contentmarketingworld.com, you can learn more about the event if you're still on the fence and you're not sure. We have so many. Been looking at the sessions, of course, over the last few days, and I mean some really great sessions and speakers planned for Content Marketing World. We have Issa Rae on the keynote stage. So head over to contentmarketingworld.com, check it out. Even if maybe you want to get a digital pass if you can't quite make it to the West Coast on such short notice. You can do that as well. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to JK or I about them. We would love to answer any of your questions. And if you're going to be there, then, let us know. We'd love to meet up with you. We'd love to meet new members of our community as well. So back to today's live stream, JK, let's get the conversation started with our question of the day.
Oh, wow. This is a fun one. Okay, so we're going to do something a little different today. All right. So Ashley's CMWorld session is actually called, let me get this right, Navigating the New Social Frontier, 5 Strategies from Oregon Trail for Marketing Leaders. Now, we want to know how many of you out there actually played Oregon Trail in school. And I mean, I know I did. I died of dysentery way too many times. So, Amanda, how about you? Did you play Oregon Trail?
I was the same way. I don't remember much about playing. I just know I wasn't very good at it. So they take you into the computer lab. Like back in the day, we had computer labs. All
That's
the kids
right.
have their computers now. We had to go in the computer lab, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be very good at this Oregon Trail thing.
Oh man, it was like the old 8-bit graphics on the screen. And I remember everybody always, like, we were young boys. We wanted to hunt all the time, and you didn't care about anything else. And then your whole family dies. And you're like, well, I bought food, but they're like, well, you didn't buy medicine.
Oh, right.
Oh, boy.
Yes, it was a fun game. And you know what? Social media can kind of feel like that these days. We're all pioneers. We're wandering around trying to figure out how to survive in this social media landscape and wilderness. Right, JK?
Yeah. So this is fun. So today we're hoping our guest Ashley Baker, she's a founder and CMO of Coastline Marketing, can give us a few strategies to survive social media today. How's it going, Ashley?
Hey, it's going well. Happy to see you guys.
Always great to see you.
Did you play Oregon Trail or?
Oh my gosh, all the time. And like JK said, I died in dysentery. I got snake bites. But I remember distinctly you could name all the people in your caravan. So like when we were in the computer lab, Amanda, we would name them like after all of our teachers. So be like, Miss So-and-so died of a snake bite. And be like, oh, I can't English today.
That's a good way to get some enjoyment out of it. So,
oh my gosh.
First of all, why Oregon Trail as your topic here?
Okay, so I mean, to be really honest, this was a complete shower thought, and one of those that like I then had, and I was like, how do I make this work? Because going into Content Marketing World, I knew I wanted to pick a topic that I felt I could actually speak on and enjoy. And so being an avid hiker, I was like, well, I don't want to be the person who just like plops a map up there and it's like, we're walking through Colorado today and here's what happened. And started to think back to Oregon Trail, and I was like, oh, this is such a great metaphor for social media, because right when you think things are going well, just like Oregon Trail, all of a sudden you have a snake bite and then someone in your caravan quits or whatever happened. And you're just always kind of trudging around this trail, hoping that you make it to the end, which I never made it to the end in the game, but I did make it to the end in social media. So about this one. But outside of that, I mean, I was a 90s baby too. So this was kind of a perfect one for me. And just like JK said, going through all of the memories of like looking at photos from Oregon Trail, graphics are terrible, but it still just everything applies to now. They also made a new game out of it. I'm apparently too old to know that happens, but a younger person informed me that they still play that today. So I thought this would be a really fun topic to bring about and hope other people connect with it too.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, speaking of hiking and landscape, the social media landscape has changed so much. What are some of the biggest trends that like you were seeing right now in the social media industry?
Yeah, so I talk about a lot of these in my like content marketing presentation, but there are some trends that I'm really loving right now, and then obviously there are some that I think that we could do without. But two that I'm loving right now, one is the idea of authenticity over perfection. So brands are shifting to that more authentic, relatable content rather than that perfectly polished post. So behind the scenes clips have been happening, right? People are doing more candid updates, user generated content. But recently, I watched a video from Adobe on their Instagram, and they had their research scientist was featured, and it was the most grainy video I have ever seen in my entire life. But it was shared on Instagram. I assume it must have been taken via Zoom, but it gave a little bit of an authentic lens to it, as if, these people are professionals. We don't have to do anything specific. We just want you to hear from them, which I appreciated. And then the other trend, which is I personally love probably the most, is this sustainability and social responsibility. I don't know if you guys have seen this on your feeds or not, or maybe this is just really curated for me. Seeing like more brands take a stand on social issues and shifting toward operating sustainably, or at least letting their audience know that they're being globally conscious. So some people are doing like less promoting of the actual product, instead promoting their advocacy for values and environmentalism, inclusivity, and just showing what that specific product, how it fits that bill. That's what I personally really love, just being somebody who's an ocean conservation enthusiast. So,
Right. I did, as you mentioned that, I just got something recently on one of my feeds where three of the big cola brands, the three big brands all got together and promoted how they're doing the completely recycled bottles, and they kind of put their egos aside of trying to reach more audience, and they kind of going as one global audience and talking to everybody about how they're being a little bit more sustainable.
Patagonia is a really great example of that. They share online all of their vendors, so you could literally, if you wanted to today, right, go make the same shirt that Patagonia makes, because they want everyone to have the same environmentally conscious materials, which I really love. But they are big proponents of that in their marketing. It's on all of their labels. Can you tell I have a few of their products?
But that also goes back to like the authenticity part of it, right? Like you can't just say you're sustainable or say you're doing these things. You have to be like legitly like doing those things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think some brands are doing it exceptionally well, where they have entire video series based off of their sustainable initiatives, and taking their creatives and people internally out on different trips to show why they do certain things, or going to the rainforest, whatever it might be, which kind of brings a different level of authenticity. I love, just because then I get to see somebody experience it for the first time and really understand why they're doing it, not just, hey, we're doing this, I've told you about it, I'm doing a good deed, buy from me.
Right. Checking a box or whatever.
Yeah, right. Which I feel like is what we see more often than not. Usually when you see something online, it is just, hey, I have this great product, this is why you should love it. Yeah.
As an audience, I feel, and I think you can all agree that when you see a brand using social media to prove that they're walking the walk, instead of just checking that box, hey, we're out here doing the stuff, that really makes a difference.
Yep. And then you align with it too. So then you become a brand advocate for them and start telling other people like, hey, did you see this amazing thing that they did? They have an entire YouTube series based off this. And you kind of become invested, not monetarily, but emotionally, mentally. Then you start checking for updates, get a little obsessive.
Well, there's all, like you said, we can do all kinds of different types of content, right? But we also, we might need to do sales content, promotional, behind the scenes, funny stuff, thought leadership. How do we know, what tone works best for our brand? Or should we try a mix of all of them? Should we stick to one? Or, what are your thoughts on that?
This is such a sticking point for so many brands, especially those who are like really rooted in traditional ways of thinking. I think we probably all worked for a brand like that who's just very stuck in, we've always done this, we are not changing, like this has worked for us for history and we're not going to do anything different. But every brand, I feel like, has the opportunity to be less rigid and more human. So for me, I always tell people social media is about being social. So I often see brands get caught up in this belief that they aren't fun or they aren't, they're not witty. And they forget the simple fact that there's a real person on the end of every interaction that we have on social. So we don't have to be perfect or formal all the time. That's not me saying that like you should go out and start using words like slay in your marketing materials all the time. But it does mean that you can be more approachable, relatable, conversational. And ultimately the tone that works best isn't about being funny or formal. It's about just being authentic to who your brand is and understanding how your audience wants to engage with you. So I just think that's important to know. And also that tone isn't static. It can shift based on the platform, your audience, or even the moment. I think TikTok is a really great example of this because you can lean into humor, visual creativity, while like LinkedIn and Twitter, you might be more serious and do some thought leadership, some different types of campaigns. So like your tone can shift from light and promotional to informative and value driven depending on your content's purpose. I think especially B2B brands, we get really stuck in like, we're professional. We can never have fun. Do not look at us like that. We are professional individuals. We will not show our CEO dancing in front of the conveyor belt or whatever it might be, right? Like, but you can still be fun in other ways. You don't have to do the latest TikTok dance.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect because that leads into the question I had for you. Like, do we have to think differently between B2B and B2C? I mean, does it work across the board, or
is it bad if I say please don't? Please don't think differently. At the end of the day, like I just feel like everybody gets so stuck in like B2B, B2C, right? But I feel like I'm sure somebody else coined this, but we're all B2P, right? Like we're all business to people. So I don't know why we feel like we have to be different. I think B2B has been doing, this stiff kind of rigid marketing for years, and B2C has always been that fun and engaging. When in fact, I think what's considered new for B2B brands is exactly what B2C has been doing for years. I think we can still embrace trends. We can still, just do everything that B2C is. It just manifests differently. I'm definitely guilty of that because I feel like we fall into this trap of thinking that B2B has to be B2B, but it doesn't. We can still be fun. We can still play around with our audience. We can still be authentic. We still don't have to be perfect all the time. So please don't think that that you have to be different. You don't. I think you can treat them both the same with maybe a little bit of a different lens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I saw a discussion on LinkedIn with our friend Michelle Garrett about manufacturing companies and that there's a lot of opportunities there, but they feel like they all are very entrenched, like we're B2B, they're so, I'm sure they have, I don't know. It doesn't even matter what the product is. Like I'm always because they have the great video opportunity and if they're allowed to shoot video and like what the operations are. I'm sure they have characters behind the scene. Like there's so many different ways that they can tell those stories. It's just, getting out of that mindset.
Right. And I always use the example of like some of my favorite shows where How It's Made, Dirty Jobs, right? Yeah. Like they went to B2B companies and that was still super fun and engaging, but it was a learning opportunity. It still positions them as a thought leader. Like I don't feel like it detracted at all from their message. So like those shows, all geared to B2C, I feel like are perfect examples for B2B of how they can still mimic some of what B2C is doing on a routine basis.
Right. Okay. So
our friend Kim here says, I've never played, but I thought everyone played a board Girl Guide of Disney Theory. And then Tyrone says, I just logged on, I'm guessing Oregon Trail. So everyone.
Yes, Tyrone. Yeah.
Yep. Did anyone make it through? That's my real question. Like, did anyone actually live through this? Because I never did.
All right.
Question.
So here's a big question for you. Now that we've kind of talked about audience and B2B, or like as you put it, B2P, which is perfect, and we're getting a lot of love for that in the chat. So good job for that. So algorithms are constantly changing. How should we be measuring success like these days on social? Because some people put stuff out there that they wouldn't gauge as successful, but that same the same amount of likes might be gauged as a complete success to another brand. So like, how do you gauge that?
So I work with a wide range of clients, and so some of my clients rely solely on like the basic insights that are provided by the platforms, right? So there's absolutely no frills to that. And others have sophisticated reporting tools like HubSpot, but no matter what tools you have, the three things that I always say that you should be looking at, regardless of goals, are your engagement, your website traffic, and then your sentiment. So engagement specifically for me is the one that I would focus on because it goes beyond follower count. So it's, you could have 2 million followers, right? But if only 1,000 of them are liking or engaging with your post, your content just isn't resonating, and worse, you're not reaching the right people. So engagement metrics like likes, shares, comments, and saves are better signals that the right people are finding value in what you're sharing. And it's a more meaningful way to, determine whether your content's actually making an impact. So it's my top one. If that's like the only thing that you ever look at for social media, that would be it. Because I think specifically in my instance, I feel like customers and clients get really caught up in social media as a one-to-one interaction. So for every follower, you get one sale. And that is not at all how social media works, right? So like you have to look at something different. And if your CEO is pushing for that, I'm so sorry because I've been there. It's really hard. But there are other ways that you can show value in what you're doing to them. But engagement's definitely the biggest one that I would say.
You can tell we can tell pretty quickly, like whether if you post something on our LinkedIn that it resonates with the audience, like that's pretty obvious. So like sharing it, they're commenting it, etc. That's a really great indication.
And I would say too, it's disheartening when people first start out on LinkedIn and they're like, I don't have, like, no one's liking my stuff. Well, the algorithm's going to take a little bit. Like they have to make sure that you're who you say you are and you're posting content that's valuable, right? So like you'd say if you try something new or you're shifting to a new tone or whatever, to at least give yourself a substantial amount of time to make sure that it's working for you before you're like, never mind, I'm done. My engagement was trash.
Yeah. Give it a little time. Well, Tyrone says he made it to Oregon once.
Way to go.
So jealous.
I think you're the only person, Tyrone.
Yeah, I literally looked up what the final screen was for Oregon Trail because I was like, I've never seen it in my life.
Nope.
Speaking of that, what else can people see during your session at Content Marketing World? Expect from it next week.
So we're going to talk about a lot of different fun topics, but one that I'm specifically talking about that I'm really excited about is assigning a face to your brand. I feel like that's super controversial. I'm going to say it. People are instantly going to be like, never, this will never work. But I swear it does, and it'll work for both B2B and B2C if we're going to be really specific about it. Talk about some metrics that you can use to make sure that what we're doing is actually working, A/B testing, bringing in some different tones of voices. I'm going to cover all the things that your CEO is a little hesitant about, and then we're going to talk about how he can just buy into what you're selling to him. So if you're having trouble with those conversations, definitely want to stick around for my presentation because I feel like I'll address some of those because I've hit roadblocks on numerous occasions. So I feel like I can definitely get some advice.
Awesome. And you've been to Content Marketing World now for a few years. What do you love most about the event?
I feel like everybody probably says this, but it's such a family reunion for me. And beyond that, right? Like all the speakers are fantastic. I leave every time with just pages upon pages of notes that I want to take back and apply to my own work. But it is a bit of a family reunion. I feel like, I've met both of you, right, years ago and continue to, but every time I go and I meet somebody new and I feel like I take away from that a new connection, somebody that I can go to for advice if it's not in my field. It's just a welcoming environment and I look forward to it every year.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing you again, our friend Ashley, next week. So if you're going to the event, I highly suggest you check out Ashley's event. Let me pop up your screen here. So Ashley will be there as well. So we will see you in San Diego. Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. See you next week.
Yeah. All right. So we are sleep deprived, but we are planning all kinds of stuff for next week. Besides the network, we have all kinds of stuff planned. So if you're still on the offense about attending, let me see if I can pop this up here. Head on over to, let's see if it pops up here, contentmarketingworld.com. See if I can share this. Can you see that, Jake?
Yep, got it.
So we have an attendee hub here where you can find some important information. We have a whole packing list here. You can see how to download the app. You can just search CMI events on the app and find that badge stuff, start connecting. So we have important information there. We also have this networking and events tab here. So you can see all the awesome stuff. If you're coming in Sunday, you can actually come and meet JK and I and the rest of our team here at the Hilton in the Gas Lamp Quarter there. We will be there. We have a first time attendee session. This is, I think this is always a well-attended session. If you're coming for the first time, I highly suggest you attend that at 4:30 on Monday. We also have doing this thing we did last year, which is also successful dinner with new friends. You can sign up here if you're interested in that. And then we have all kinds of stuff going on. So JK, tell me a little bit about the running club.
Oh yeah, well, we started a running club years ago that's been going strong every year, and
Sorry, there you go.
I host a little get together. 2 of the mornings. It would be, I believe, Tuesday and Wednesday morning. And this year, we are going to be running along the ocean, which is just absolutely fantastic. Me and a few crazy friends get up at about 6 o'clock in the morning and go get some energy, built up before we tackle the day of too much coffee and sweets, which is the whole thing. I get up and go running because I know I'm going to eat horribly and drink way too much coffee all day. But actually, it's a great little, we have such a great group, and we have a lot of fun when we do it. The networking is fantastic. Even at 6 o'clock in the morning, people are talking. And then, you know, I have little buttons for folks. If you come and join us, we got something for your lanyard that says you were a runner. And we have such a fun time. And like I said, I've run this route a couple times before in San Diego, and it is absolutely one of my favorite places to run. So I'm so excited to get some people out there and get the blood pumping in the morning. We're going to have a blast.
So if you're not a runner like me and you're more into yoga, so we also offer yoga on Tuesday, Wednesday morning at 6:15. It'll be actually an outdoor yoga right there on the convention center, the level 2 terrace, I believe. We'll have mats available, so you can come and start your morning with a little bit of yoga and meet me as well. We also have a sign up form, which I think was on the website under that events and happenings page. So just so we have an idea of how many people will be there. So if you can sign up. Other than that, we're going to be busy packing orange clothes, right, JK?
Lots and lots and lots of orange. Like, you have to, come on, you got to rep. Frank Sinatra said the orange is the happiest color.
That's right.
By the way, we'll have t-shirts available with that on it. So, yes, as everyone knows, we're the Orange Conference. So you want to fit in, wear some orange.
Orange. We will definitely compliment you on it. And then we're also trading bracelets. So if you
look at those,
some bracelets, these are CMWorld bracelets. We'll be trading bracelets there as well. So you can work this week and the rest of the weekend and get your bracelets ready, and we'll all be trading. So I think those are the big things. Again, if you guys have any questions, let us know. We're happy to answer them. If you're going to be there, please reach out to us. JK and I would love to meet you. We'll be all around the convention center. JK's in charge of Drink and Draw, which is at the CMI celebration. So you can see him there as well. I'll be around as well. So,
and we all love to give hugs and high fives. So that's what this conference is all about.
I love that. Hugs and high fives for sure. So that wraps it up for us for our Live with CMI CMWorld editions. We will be back next month in November. We'll give you a little wrap up of CMWorld plus have a guest. So look for that scheduled post coming out soon. But until then, I hope to see you next week. I know I will see JK. And if not, we will see you next time on the live stream.